Hey, I'm D'Angelo Williams, and I'm gonna have to welcome you to Skeptic's Corner. We're gonna bring in Taylor, we're bringing in Tate, we're bringing in Gary, that damn skeptic. We're gonna get to the bottom of this and see what they thought of the Euro Shrine. So, without further ado, let's bring in the guys. Hey, how you doing? I know it's been a while since we saw the footage. So Taylor, we're gonna start with you. So now that you've had a chance to sit back, think about the Euro Shrine, take it in. My question to you now is do you feel the same way you felt when you visited that place? And did it change how you feel now after?
I feel relieved that I'm away from that place now.
Okay.
There was just a lot of tension. Man, I'm just relieved. We're out of there.
Okay. All right.
Because I don't want to give away too much right now, but I'm relieved that I'm away.
Okay. So now that you're relieved, like what were some of the things that held you back on wanting to go in? I mean, obviously this is kind of different from the places that we've investigated before. So what were some of the reservations you had going into the Euro Shrine?
Just some of the stuff that happened off camera that people didn't get to see, but they will later on. Like just stuff that the movement before we even started, the stories from other people. His name was Ken. What was his name? The owner. Rick. Okay.
Rick.
Okay, 3. dude, I did not know his name. Sorry.
Rick. Yeah.
Okay. So just some of the stories that Rick had told us. He took us up to the main part of the mother where cameras weren't even supposed to even be, not even allowed, and just up there, knowing that there were spirits trapped within 3 foot above us through floor level, just knowing there were spirits trapped in certain things, and I don't know if I can say this, but body parts inserting things that we wasn't allowed to film, knowing there's human body parts that were sold on the black market probably, like just knowing that's above my head and spirits can attach to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Had me spooked. But I was chill though, if you can tell in the first part of the episode. I wasn't nervous.
Okay. So we're gonna move along to Gary. So Gary, I'm not gonna go there. We're gonna pause. We're gonna stick a bookmark in that, and we're gonna come back to that. So, what did you think of the Euro Shrine? Like, obviously, you're still a skeptic. You said that at the end of the episode. Like, why wasn't it enough evidence?
So I don't think it was enough evidence because it was things that couldn't be recreated by all of us going in separately. We couldn't recreate the same thing happen. We didn't get the same names. There's different things that didn't happen. Yeah, there might have been evidence for this, that, or whatever, but we didn't get the same thing over and over again. I think for me, I need evidence to be repeatable. I needed to be done to multiple people the same thing, not a different name. You hear a different person, a different voice, guy, girl, whatever, because then that's just generic. To me, that's what everybody says. Oh, that's evidence. But as a skeptic, I don't just assume everything is ghost related. Like I know in the thing they talked about. Oh, there's batteries, things happen where mechanical issues, stuff like that. But as a skeptic, that's not your first thought. Your first thought is user error, didn't charge batteries. Your first thought isn't going to go, oh, it's ghost related. But if you believe in ghosts, you're going to be, oh, it's ghost related. So that's what you're automatically blaming the fact about. But sometimes it could be user error. And we'll get to that later with the EVP stuff. I'll talk about stuff like that. But so I think the thing is I just don't jump to the conclusion everything is ghost related. So I try to find what could it actually be and if it makes sense. If it's a plausible reasoning or explanation, I don't understand why somebody who believes can't be like, oh yeah, that could be it too, versus just no, it was ghost. So it was a great place. Like I said, I think the location's amazing, but I think our investigation didn't turn up enough evidence to sway me one way or the other.
Okay, I respect it. We're gonna go to Tate. So Tate, obviously.
Can you speak a little softer? I still got a hangover. I'm kidding.
So Tate, obviously, you've experienced a lot of things. You've been on plenty of investigations. Why was this investigation different?
this investigation was different because this place to me was, at the time and even now, it's nothing, but it's something. And I can't put my finger on what the something is. Now, taking a step back, months later from the investigation, reviewing the footage together as a team again, it's almost like bad things happened at that particular location. I don't know if it was during when the shrine was established and built, but bad things have happened on that location from the feeling I got and from some of the evidence that was being told in the spirit box that kind of foreshadowed something bad happening there. And then also, I think it's just a playground for anything, because all the objects there that can be possessed and have attachments to them, I think it's just kind of over the years collected so much energy from that's also made its own power source for the paranormal to come in.
Okay. All right. So after going in with Nick and going through and getting the activity or the experience that you got, has it changed you since you've gone in the Euro Shrine as opposed to any other investigations? Obviously, we know that you believe, but is this place any different from the other places that you visited because the spirits were allowed to run free?
It is, because this is the first time it's affected me mentally, emotionally, and physically. I thank Nick for coming in with me, because I couldn't, like I told y'all then, I'll tell y'all again right now, there's no way I could have done it by myself. I regret it though, because like I said, I let the team down, and also I let myself down, because I wanted to go in there and see what I could find, what I could experience myself with that one-on-one time. And that's one of them opportunities you may never get a chance at again, so I let that slip through my fingers. But back to your original question, this place made me feel different in all the physical and non-physical ways possible. It's just, there was something about that place that drained me, and I had this bad ick about me the whole time, like a vibe telling me, like, stay away. Just don't go in, stay away.
Now, I want to make sure that everybody understand this out there. When we do solo investigations, it is completely dark. The only light that they have is the light that's on their head. So what you see is you see the night vision, so you're able to see, but they're not able to see anything in there. So the fact that we had someone run out of there with no light, we're gonna get to that though. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna bring a special guest on that set a new record at the Euro Shrine and running from room to room and not touching a single structural piece when we return.
Bro. Do I go, bro? I don't know. Is that the white thing to do, bro?
Don't go, bro. Don't go. I'm telling you.
Bro, I don't want to go.
This
I
is
swear
your
to God.
first time, bro. Don't go.
Get out of there.
Don't go.
So now that we're back, I promise you guys a guest, filmmaker Nick. So Nick, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
Thank you.
I wanted to bring Nick in real quick because, on day one we had some mix-up on the solos, but not only did we have some mix-up on the solos, you really connected with the Euro Shrine. So your thoughts before you went in, not knowing that you were going in, and then your thoughts about actually going in and setting that track record on getting out.
Well, kind of with the whole Euro Shrine experience, as soon as we got there, I mean, I think we all kind of felt it. Like, there's something about that place. You feel it as soon as you walk up. You don't know if it's bad. You don't know if it's good. Kind of like Rick, Like, I don't know if I really trust that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's the man, but also it's like, what does he know?
Yeah.
And so going in, it felt like a big mystery. Setting up the cameras even felt weird. And, I didn't expect to go in. So just kind of keeping my feelings to myself until the moment we went in for the seance, if that's what we're still calling it. I don't know how, I don't know why it happened. I don't know why I reacted the way I did. But the only way I can explain it is I was in a trance of just filming you guys. And then all of a sudden the words just started kind of just setting me in the trance is the only way I could say it. And then all of a sudden I just raised my hand and said something. And then for some reason, you guys sent me in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you go in, you have the experience that you have. Obviously, you wasn't a skeptic. You didn't know you were going in, but just walk us through like that feeling that you had right before you decided, like, you know what, I've had enough. It's time for me to take off.
So there was the weird stuff with the lights that were going on. My lights were flickering. Yeah. That was weird. But that didn't really scare me too much. The spirit box, and I think we all definitely learned this from that, the spirit box is serious. Like, that thing really was just saying some things. And even going back, watching the footage, like, we heard so much more. Yeah. And I think it really got me because, first off, I was very nervous going into that location. I've never done anything like that. And then once you finally sent me into the cave, like right in that little in-between.
Crossroads.
The crossroads. As soon as it said ghost, which I swear, that was insane. As soon as it said ghost, I didn't even think. I just blacked out and just made it into the tent. You saw my face, how red it was. Yes. Like, it was a weird moment, but it definitely helped me become more of a believer after that experience.
And that's what I like to hear.
Bro, I don't want to go. I swear to God. It's ghost. Oh! Oh! My God!
Well, we wanted to have you on real quick. Now I'm finna really get into some of this good stuff. I know you got to go. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate and, you know, giving us some of your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Good luck to you guys. And Gary, I hope they get you, man.
Okay, so now that we got that little knick-knack out of the way, now we can get down to the nitty-gritty. So day one, Taylor, you go in. I guess, like, the ghost was, like, filling you up. Like, you got to tell me about this because, like, I've looked at that, like, several times. I couldn't really see the indentation on the T-shirt. But like you said, something felt you. Like, was it more like a tap? Was it more like a rub? Or was it more like a grope?
It was more of just like something just poke your leg. People at home, people watching, just poke your leg. I mean, it was sort of like just a poke. Can't explain it any other way. Like, it was just a poke, man. And I've had that happen in the past at a previous investigation. It felt like something was tapping my leg, and then we took the medium in behind us, and she stopped in the same presence of where I've got tapped. We didn't have a medium in our hands.
Gary,
this time.
what would you say about him getting poked? Since, I mean, you are the skeptic here.
So how I would describe his poke stuff is, as you saw in there, he was terrified from the second he walked in. Okay. So as a skeptic, like, your fear plays tricks on you, on your mind, your head. You see things that aren't there. That's a natural occurrence for anybody that's scared. So when he's scared, you see when he walks in, he's, oh Lord. He's taking his deep breaths and he's doing all that kind of stuff. So when he walks in the room, and that happens to be where the coconut's at, he happens to feel like he feels something. Okay. Like, I feel like it's just more of a fear because he didn't know how close he was to something. And that's how I would feel. It's more fear-based. Go ahead,
free to talk.
Yeah.
Just in my defense with this, we just got out of a seance also. And and I'm going to say this because I said it the whole episode. I'm a Christian. It's against my whole belief of anything. Okay, got shirts made, by the way, for that. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, I'm a Christian. We just did the seance. Dogs were barking outside, and then right after I get poked, I see like what I think is something move to the right, and then the dog starts barking again outside. So this dog that Jeff has is
Jeff.
So this dog that Rick has, man, it sees these spirits, and like, again, on some deleted scenes, that dog like scares me to death off camera. I mean, dude, that dog is like a spiritual dog.
So that's great that you brought that up. How do you explain the dog barking, Gary, at the exact moment that this seance starts to take place?
Well, it's a dog. They bark all the time. Your dog will bark randomly out of nowhere. It can easily be a coincidence. It didn't bark every time during the seance. It barked certain times during the seance. But again, that's the thing. if it would bark exact words when it said, "Oh, we're going to reach animals," and then it barked, it didn't do it during animals. It did it other parts. So if you go back and listen to when she said the words, it didn't happen during that time. So like, but again, it's a dog. Dog barks at everything. That dog was barking at squirrels when we weren't on camera live recording. It was barking at squirrels in the woods and birds that were flying over. So it was barking all the time. So I can't contribute a bark to being something paranormal.
But one thing, Rick, Keith, Jeff, he did Rick. Now, to the dog point, Rick did mention that his dog would run down periodically to that corner where the witchcraft, the demon stuff happened in the corner of the property at the bamboo forest and start barking and yelping and everything, going crazy periodically throughout the night. And so does that play into it?
Well, I would say that's probably one of my biggest regrets of the location is we had a lot of rain, so we were never truly able to investigate the bamboo forest or the corner where the witchcraft stuff is because of so much rain. We couldn't actually go out there and investigate it. That's my biggest regret of the location, because if there was something going on, we have no way of knowing because we didn't get to investigate it because the rain wouldn't allow us. So that's my biggest regret of that, because like I don't have any evidence for or against that other than the dog being there, but we were never to truly investigate it, so I can't give you a definite answer why it was over there. Because if we went over there, what if there was a rat? And he was barking at the rat every time. Like, we don't know because we never had a chance. We never got a chance to investigate. Because we did find out there was a mouse. There was a mouse in the basement.
Look at the mouse.
You see it? You see that mouse?
Well, it's an actual mouse.
Yeah.
Which is probably what scared Taylor from actually walking into the basement longer than 3 seconds.
But in my defense again,
I didn't know at that time. Correct.
There was some movement, and we did. This is the only thing he could debunk that whole night. There was movement, but it was from a mouse. But in my defense, I was not just hearing things, and it was not just the scare like you always. It's not the mental thing. Right. Yeah. That's always.
Again, I don't deny that you heard.
And the orbs that Nick and I caught before, like later on. Mm-hmm. That was not mouse either. And the camera didn't show this, but we did debunk that, and I'm sure it'll be on deleted scenes. We tried to clap. Remember, we got the dust to fly in front of the camera. We could not debunk that.
We couldn't explain, but we only had them one time.
Yeah.
Because then we started having issues with the SLS, so we weren't able to truly get another chance at the SLS because it wasn't acting right. Yeah. So that's to me, like, I know you'll say it's ghost related. I'll say it's equipment related or user error, which I know you don't want to hear because you were using it. But as a skeptic, that's where I'm going to go to first versus ghost related, because I don't believe in ghosts. So I'm not going to contribute to it. So like, I think for me, we didn't get a chance to recreate it again the next day to see if we could get the same type of activity or use it again later because it started having issues. So like for me, it's hard for me to use that as evidence because it could have been a one-off thing and we never happened again, and that could have been explained away, but we didn't get a chance.
And this is where it brings into Tate, because I think the same thing that was messing with everyone's equipment was giving that same effect on Tate, like mentally draining him. It can't just drain electronics. It can drain people that actually believe in this stuff's minds also and create those paranormal hangovers.
Since you did bring up paranormal hangover, we got to address the elephant in the room, Tate. We got to address. So did you and Gary, I'm not sure if it was Gary or like, did y'all work out y'all differences? Because, I mean, after, what happened in the house, it looked like we came back and y'all was sitting on the couch still holding grudges. like mom and dad broke y'all up and told y'all, you gonna sit down and y'all gonna be brothers and you gonna apologize. Like, where are we there? Where are we there? I mean, we're months removed from it now. Like, yeah, okay. Walk us through it, man.
Gary, we good?
I'm great, babe.
I'm great too.
I was great then. Again, like I said multiple times, like it was more of, we're a team. I don't want to see a teammate not doing everything, because as a team we need to all do it. And that was my biggest stick thing was, I'm not going to do it. We came with a compromise. We found a compromise. But when he said, I'm definitely not going in, it was more of a hurt feeling, because I'm like, you're willing to just let us all down.
Yeah.
And you're fine with that. And that was what got me the most. But again, we talked about it. Like, he was dealing with things, and I told him how I've dealt with it. Again, that was the first time any of y'all besides D had heard any of that. So, but again, there's a reason behind things, but everybody doesn't know everything that's going on.
Right.
But more people deal with things that you don't understand. You can't understand unless you talk to them, talk it out. And I think that's where you rely on your friends and your family, and you talk to people and you let them know what's going on with you. Don't keep it hidden, and you get it out in the open.
Yeah, it sounds like you okay with it, but we want to hear from Tate.
Yeah.
Tate can still be holding grudges.
No. I'm no grudges are held. To second that, always talk to somebody. If you're going through something, especially friends, family, you talk it out. And that's what we did. We're good. What you're looking at on camera is me still fighting that paranormal hangover. And just I'm fighting the fight to just keep my head up and keep my eyes open. I was dead. We went, 2 straight nights till 5 a.m., 6 a.m. We had like a few hours of sleep each night. It was a tough weekend.
I cried laughing looking at the video because it was like, y'all was like, yeah, we're good. And then the next scene, you're sitting on the couch like,
everything's good. We're all good. We're cool. I think that moment was great. I hate it happened, but also, again, I apologize for letting y'all down. I feel bad myself. But I think it was great we had that moment because it brought us all closer together. And another aspect of that Taylor and I discussed after the investigation was that energy from the shrine causing animosity and feelings in our group.
Oh,
because
I didn't think about that. That's a good one.
Yeah, because we all got kind of. I mean, we didn't get on the brink of fighting or breaking up, but it's like, we have been pushed further on the brink as a team than we have any other investigation.
Yes.
Was it playing into that?
Yeah. I didn't think about that. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
So,
Amityville horror type situation.
So
I like
as a
that.
skeptic aspect, though, because obviously, we all know I don't believe.
Yeah.
So why would it only affect the somebody that believes? Why wouldn't it affect somebody that doesn't believe? Why couldn't it affect them as well? Because that would be my question.
Go ahead, Taylor. What you got?
Why
What you
couldn't
got?
it
What you got?
affect me?
What you got, Taylor?
Why does it only affect people that happen to believe?
Because I think that you got your answer on your solo investigation whenever you said, "Who is this that I'm talking to?"
If anybody's here, what is your name?
And on the count of 3, could we all get the same what we thought it said? Who was trying to talk to him? Can we just do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't even need to look at my phone.
I know.
Do you? 1, 2, 3. God.
Yep.
That's his answer.
So-
we have God, and he's still searching for him. And
I'm not actively looking, but just saying. The thing is, I'm gonna.
That's the real. Gary's not actively looking. Okay,
I'm just.
We want to make sure.
The thing is, like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just real. I'm me to a fault. Like, and the thing is, I'm not a religious person. I will admit that. They know that. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe the same way they believe. I have my own views. I don't push it on people, but like, I think it's an interesting thing that it came, but I think the interesting with the word God coming there, because when I'm in person, like y'all see, I don't even react to it because I can't make out the words when it's going because it's going so fast.
Yes.
So I don't hear it real time. When we listen to it back, that was when I heard it. That's why I think reviewing the footage is huge for us because like you hear so much more after the fact. Because in the moment, like I know for them, like they may hear more than I do because they have a little more fear in them with that. So they may hear certain words and want to hear things because they have that. I'm not hearing anything that makes sense for me to say, oh, this is what it said because I'm not thinking that I'm going to get anything. Which I guess for me also puts on blinders or puts up a wall for me to experience things. I can understand that and I 100% get that. But like that's hard for me not to because as a non-believer, I need to find something to prove to me. And it can't just be a one-off thing and it needs to be multiple things. Like people have been scratched supposedly in different places and stuff. I've tried to get all that stuff to happen, but nothing wants to interact with me. And we've tried multiple other investigations. They've gone in with mediums. They've experienced stuff. I go in there. She feels nothing. I can't explain why nothing happens to me, which makes it even harder for me to experience something and make it harder for me to believe when y'all say, oh, it's a ghost this, it's a ghost that, or that. It makes it tough. So that's like my only evidence for me is like the spirit box type thing, or when it comes to the SLS, those type of things, or even the EVP. That's, to me, would be the easier way for me to experience something, because I don't think I'm ever going to get pushed, scratched, or anything like that. Even though I'm let them try, because I've tried all that kind of stuff and I'm all for it.
And to be clear, real quick, that was not God trying to talk to you on the spirit box. It was trying to whatever it was trying to lure you in.
But why couldn't it be God? You say it couldn't be God. Why couldn't it be? Why do you think it could not have been God?
Because God would never speak to us through
Through a
necromancy.
spirit
Yeah,
box.
that's the play. What we're dealing with, and this is the Christian side of me. I'm a Christian. This is what comes out of my side of the philosophy behind paranormal. When someone dies, they go to heaven or hell. There's no really purgatory, or they don't inhabit here with their energy and stuff. Now, the theory we always go by with our Bigfoot investigating and paranormal investigating is Satan, the devil, and his legion of demons can walk between two dimensions, hell and earth. So with that being said, I believe most paranormal experiences and inhabitants here are of the devil and demon type things. I don't believe that angels and spirits come down unless it's an angel themselves fighting for God. Like that's when the angels come down to protect us and watch over us and stuff like that. A normal person like us that dies and becomes a spirit and goes to heaven, I don't see the pathway for us to come back right now until the rapture. Saying. Yeah. Okay. So that's why you got to be careful when you paranormal investigate, because you can bring something home with you that you don't want unless you're washing the blood of Jesus Christ, or you pray and bless yourself before you go into these places. So that's the theory we have behind it, is it's more of the devil and demons that are paranormal that we are messing with more than God's legion of angels. Now, angels can come and fight for us and defend us and fight off demons, but most of these places we're going to, I believe it's more along the lines of dealing with Satan and demons.
So, lack of a better saying, playing devil's advocate. Why you say it's easier for you to go home if you don't believe, you don't say prayers and all that kind of stuff. But I've probably been in 15, 17 places that are considered really haunted, done everything I can to try, and I've never been affected by anything. What would be the explanation for that? If it's so easy for that stuff to happen, what would be the explanation in general? Just for regular people in general. You don't have to,
it'll pick you up.
Yeah, like, in general, what would be the explanation for that?
Just like you do there, like stuff happened, like in the past investigations, the polterpod getting knocked off, which, by the way, something creepy happened off camera at the restaurant we ate at when the polterpod fell out and busted. But whatever, on with that. But like me, I look at that. Okay, I'll take that in perspective. That polterpod, it turned on in my back seat playing Christian music. I opened the door to turn it off. It busts in the restaurant that morning, and if y'all notice, looking back, it's all duct taped up. Because that's the second round of I think you just dismiss it automatically. Like if something would follow you home and you hear like a door slam or something, oh, the air turned on, it's a draft, shut it. Or say if teddy bear or something falls over whenever you've got it really secure on something, all wind gust still just blew it off. You can dismiss stuff like that. Like me, in my mind, like if I see a set of shoes over here and I walk into another room, come back, and now they're on the couch, like to me that's a ghost. To you, or you're like, oh, I must have misplaced them and stuck them there. That's my type of.
I see
like,
what you're saying.
You don't look at it a spiritual way. Like if you hear whispering or something upstairs, you're like, oh, must have left the TV on upstairs. But when you go upstairs and it's right there, you're like, oh, it must have just been my phone in my pocket. Yeah. Like to me, it's like, nah, that's a damn ghost. Yes. There's something here.
Yeah, that's a really great way of explaining that.
Also, I think you need to be patient. Seriously, like,
you sure y'all worked out y'all differences? Yeah. I think you need to be patient.
No, we're good. But I really think, it's good to go in any scenario in life with no expectations, because your best expectations are hardly ever met, and your worst expectations are hardly ever met, because it's never as bad as you think it's going to be in any situation. Right. I think if you stay patient and stay with us and stay doing this long enough, you will have some type of experience. I can't guarantee it. I can't tell you when, but I think if you stay patient long enough, you will find what you are looking for.
Well, I'm gonna do what he can't do. I'm gonna guarantee it. I'm gonna guarantee it.
That's a big word.
Big word. I know.
He's already had something.
So question then. So you said be patient and I don't expect the worst. So going in, I feel like y'all always expect the worst to happen. So you just told me not to expect the worst and not expect nothing. Just minimize what, or medium think what could happen. But I feel like every time we go in, y'all always usually think the worst is going to happen. So like, so shouldn't we all go in with the same mindset type thing? Because I think that plays into why y'all experience so much stuff, is because y'all always like, oh, something's definitely going to happen because of the stories you hear.
So with that being said, Gary, I don't mean to cut you off, because I really want to get to this though. I really want to get to this. So how do you explain the orbs that were during the seance? Those orbs that disappeared that looked like they were going inside of you.
So I would like for y'all to tell me what. Well, we'll let Tate go first. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. It wasn't the seance, during the summoning.
The summoning, I'm sorry. Yeah, during the summoning.
The orbs. Now that you
in live time, it literally looked like the demons she was conjuring up popped up behind y'all in the room.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. And it looked like what Dee said. One of them, when y'all were closing the summoning off, one of them went inside of you.
Yes.
But even after the fact, in live time, we discussed it. I think it was light play.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I want to believe we saw what we saw is what we saw.
Yes.
I'm not so sure it's paranormal. I think it might be light play. I don't know. But the part we just watched together.
But wait, there's more.
There is more.
There's more.
The part where the smoke passes by you and pulls your beanie down.
We'll get to that part. Don't worry.
Yeah, that I'm in question about. But for the orbs, I'm leaning towards light play, but I'm not going to completely dismiss it.
Okay. Taylor.
I know 100% that part, and I'm not going to look like the skeptic that just believes everything. I mean, the believer that just believes everything. 100% that was the candles. If you watch her blow it out, the light goes away. As soon as she moves the candle, they move. Like, looking back at it, 100%, that was light play.
Okay.
In time, though, we were all tripping because we just watched this lady's hand get butchered by Gary.
Yes.
With a dull blade.
Yes.
I mean, or her
with
finger.
With a very dull blade.
Yeah, but at the end of it, just, I don't know, he cut on her.
He cut her with a pebble.
Yeah. But I'm going to let Gary get into this, but I noticed whenever we watch back, because you lost the part, but I noticed whenever we watch back, I was like, Gary, that thing just walked. It looked like the smoke took a different trail, and then that's when this... Wait, you can do it again. Wait, there's more. Can you do that again?
Wait, there's more.
That's when this is amazing, and I don't see how you can explain this away.
Okay, I like that I get an opportunity to try to. But no, so like watching back, obviously I didn't get to see what y'all saw. All I know is me and Nick walk into the tent, and it's like we have AIDS, and y'all won't come near us. It was outrageous. And I got to give a shout out to D on this. It did not make the cut, but I have to give a shout out because when we were watching the raw footage, D said one of the best lines, which I know he's got my back, because Taylor and Tate were in there like, oh, he could get possessed. And D'Angelo's exact words were, don't put that on him. So, like, I appreciate D having my back on that. But that was great. But no, so, like, I definitely think the candles were, every time she blew it out, you could see that's where it went away. I'm reviewing the footage. I think that was definitely what it was. Yeah. Now, when we were in there and I came back in and we started to review the footage live, on set, on person, whatever, I noticed the thing he was talking about with the smoke first. It's like I noticed that in the moment while they were looking at the orbs, I was like, that looks weird to me. So I pointed out to them, but then I couldn't find it again. When we tried to do it, I was like, can we rewind that? I want to try and find it. And I couldn't find it again. And like he said, he saw it this time. And then I pointed out, which none of them saw, not even our editors saw it until just when we just watched it. The edit of, there's a point where my beanie, if you watch, which I'm sure you already saw it because it was on there, my beanie moves but my body, my head, my eyebrows, nothing moves. It like pulls down at that same time that smoke goes. So like, can I explain that away? No, but I don't know what it was.
Did you feel anything?
Didn't feel a thing.
So
didn't know. I didn't feel like when we came in. Like you heard me, absolutely nothing. That's how what I felt like when we were in there. I felt like I was just sitting there listening to her chant. I didn't feel nothing at that moment. And just to comment on the cutting, I never wanted to cut her. She wanted me to cut her hand. I was like, I cannot do that. I can't hurt you. So I agreed to poke her finger, which is what I ended up doing, was poke her finger.
So what
I could not. Now, we cut away because we did not want you to see that. But just think how much harder it was for me trying to do that in person. That was not fun for me. But like I said at the end of it, I'm going to push the envelope as much as I can. I know they don't like it. They don't want to do it. But that's what we signed up for, babe. We got to do it. I'm all about doing everything we can. And that's what it's all about. And I'm going to continue to push the envelope because we have to. Until I find something that makes me a believer, I'm going to push it as far as we can go.
Yeah.
I say we get the hooks where they hook him in his back and like suspend him. If he wants to try everything.
Yeah.
So, I got two things. One, question for you. There's no, in your mind, there's no way you can logically debunk the beanie getting pulled down over your forehead.
Logically, no. And the only thing I would say would be a camera issue, a camera glitch. That'd be my only way because it was the security camera. It wasn't the camera that Nick was holding because the camera Nick was holding didn't catch that. So only way I could, as a skeptic, would say it could have been a camera glitch. But again, that's still far-fetched. But that would be the only way I could explain it away. Would be a camera glitch.
Coincidence? I think not. Anyways. So
I do have a question with the seance. Not a question, but it was more of a response to something y'all said. Like when she's like, "Oh, what do you feel?" And you're like, "Oh, I feel cold. I feel all this stuff." For reference, again, because I don't believe. For reference, that table was freezing. It was metal. Like you're naturally gonna feel cold with your hand being on it. So that's how I would explain why they felt cold at times. I don't feel like it was paranormal going through or energy. I feel like it was just a table. It was freezing because it was metal. It was a metal table and it was cold outside. As you saw, everybody was bundled up. So that would be my explanation of it.
It was Dragonstone.
Can I play host real quick?
Go ahead.
Can I just? I just like that magic trick. Can we call Nick out here one more time? Can you do that?
We can call Nick.
Okay. I just gotta ask a question. This goes with the seance table.
Okay. All right. Nick, can you come back over here for us, Nick?
That's so cool how you can just do that. You can just summon anybody you want up in here.
Can you summon a demon?
Yeah.
No,
we're not on this.
Yeah.
So, Nick, and I want, and this is another one. I want you like.
Okay.
So, whenever Nick said, "Can I sit at the end of the table?" Did y'all like not hear it say like that is the? I don't want to say it like. I want to say kind of like what I heard and just go down order maybe. Yeah.
What part are you talking about?
So Nick was sitting there and he's got his polterpod going and he said, "Who sits at the end of the table?" Or you said, whenever we were watching it back, you said, "Who sits at the end of the table?" Or "Do you want me to sit at the end of the table?"
Room.
In the dragon room at the table.
If so, come sit at the lead of the table.
It's for the overnight.
Bro, what the fuck?
And it said, I'm pretty sure it said that's the Overlord's spot.
That's what it sounds. Yeah.
And that to me, like, man, that just blows my mind. I just want what you thought about that, like that. Oh, man.
What did you hear?
Yeah.
So I've had the most time with all of this footage. I've seen it back probably a million times, edited the thing. For that part, I still don't know what it said. When I hear it, I can try to, it's like, it's surely open. That's what, like, the only way I could try to, like, say what it was. But there was so many different times, like, I can't remember exactly what it said, but I was like, do you want me to sit down at this table or something? It's like, yes, like right in the beginning. But yeah, sitting back and watching it with you, man, it's cool to see your reaction with that because I couldn't tell what it was, and that's why I like getting your guys' perspective on it because some things I can't decrypt, and Gary's never gonna try.
But did you hear Overlord?
I did not hear Overlord. So like when it comes to things like that, like As they know this, one thing we're working really hard on not doing, we're trying not to influence the viewer on what we think we hear, because I feel like it's so easy for us to say, oh, we heard this, and then you listen to it back and you're going to hear that. And I think that's one thing that everybody else does, and they put it on the screen and like, oh, here's what it says. So now you're listening for those words, and it's very easy for you to listen and hear those words. I am such a proponent against that. They know I yell at them all the time for it, is don't try and repeat what you say, because write it down or do something else, because like Overlord, like now when you go back and listen, people are going to listen. It doesn't say Overlord, and then you're going to, yes, I hear Overlord. But if you wouldn't have said that, they may not have heard Overlord. So that's the thing, is like, we don't want to influence people's listening of things. That's why we don't put the words on there. We want you to get your own interpretation, and then we'll discuss it like we do here and give you what we truly believe we thought we heard, because I think that's a true understanding, and we're allowing you to be one of us at that moment, because we're not influencing your decision or your thoughts in any way.
So
do the light thing too.
So we barely agree on things. We hardly ever agree on things, but I will agree with you fully on that. We are very careful to the viewers and to ourselves as a group to explain or tell what we heard in live time on the Spirit Box during investigations. I need to bring up one thing before we start is talking about the lights. Nick, you and I, in our investigation, was walking back from the cave, and we hear D, plain as day, on the Spirit Box, twice.
The Seance room, the dragon table.
D.
Oh! D! Oh! I'm curious, what do you and D think it meant by saying D on the Spirit Box?
So what was super weird about that moment was we first start walking back and we weren't really thinking of anything. We weren't even really asking much. We were just going to the dragon room and it said C. That's what first got us. And then we kind of looked back at each other, we're like, C, D. And that followed right after that. And I know you said you even heard it again after that. I can't remember, but
So somebody was selling CDs.
Someone was selling CDs.
So I can tell you right now, like, exactly what that meant. I know from all the ghost shows that I've ever watched that it was calling for the black guy because I was going to be the first one to go. And he won't the purebred. He was going to take me first, and then Evan was second.
The only black guy we talking about, 1.5.
Oh, my God.
1.5% of it. He doesn't want to give me that.
Oh, my gosh. That's not enough. It's not enough. That's just a blemish.
So I kind of have a question about stuff too. With you guys finally being able to watch my investigation, because you know when we were there, we kind of, you guys didn't know what happened, but obviously I ran out of there like screaming, you know, like it was a lot. And I just want to kind of get your guys' opinion with the lights that went off. Like my headlight went off multiple times. I still can't explain that one. I hate you, Gary.
Can I go before Gary?
Yes, for sure.
Can I go before Gary?
Yeah.
We had that. And then we had, unfortunately, the parts where it said "don't go" that I said in there, it's unaudible.
Why is it unaudible?
Well, I mean, me and D'Angelo were just kind of like talking a bunch, but that's kind of our thing, you know? And then it said ghost, and that's something I still don't really understand. And I'm really curious if that's what you guys heard when you watched the footage and what you thought about everything else.
Before we get to me answering your question, there is another black guy on set, by the way.
Yeah.
You're being selfish. You're being selfish.
Evan,
You
I
hear
said
Evan
it was
through
me.
this episode, everybody.
I said it was me.
Evan's
then
pretty brave,
Evan,
too.
and then it's a toss up from there.
Yeah. But yeah. So the lights. If you notice, a female voice comes through both times your light turned on, and Mr. Debunk 'em all over here is not going to be able to debunk that, and then whenever he turns his light off, he's got to like forcefully tap it to turn it off.
I saw that.
So this thing is turning it on with a female voice, and it's turning it on really easy, and same voice. It's the same female voice trying to speak to him through the whole thing, I think.
Sounds like Leslie to me.
So that's my part of it. Do you want the Skeptic to go last, or do you want...
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tate.
So I have a question for Gary real quick about the voices. Why, when we use a spirit box and talk to it, when we get any answers at all, it's usually the same voice giving us the answers instead of random voices going through the FM transmitter?
So I would say for me, I don't feel like it's every time is random. I don't, because like I don't hear the same voice every time. I know y'all do at times, but I hear different voices. Like when you hear me when I'm doing my investigation and I'm inside, I'm like, I hear a bunch of different voices. It wasn't the same. Yeah, it was a bunch of girl voices, but it wasn't the same girl voice every time. So like, again, for me, I haven't experienced always being the same voice. Y'all may on y'all's, but I have not experienced that. So I can't say I experienced that.
The Ghostbusters spoken. So, Nick, to your thing about ghost, that is the most clear answer from paranormal, demon spirit, whatever have you it is, that I have heard in a long time.
Other investigators work like in shows. I'm not going to call any of them out, but other shows just go hours and hours and hours just for that one thing, and you got it. Like we all got it, but that was a Class A response.
And then the question I have, and I have an answer for it, but I want to know y'all's thoughts and input too on it. Why was it predominantly a male voice in the Seance Dragon Table Room and a female voice in the cave? My theory is, talk about Shinto, basically freedom of religion there. Any religion go there and practice. At some point, was there some type of cult there where the guy that said he was God to Gary on the spirit box was there proclaiming he was God to his followers, and some bad stuff went down, and there was women involved, and maybe he locked them in the cave room or something, or that area of the establishment.
Behind the scenes stuff, everyone. I talked to Rick.
Are we starting rumors?
No. Behind the scenes. I talked to Rick, and I did get, like, this is going to be on some cut stuff. I did get a name, Bill or Billy, and Rick said that there was a guy who they accused of murdering a girl and burying her on that property by the name Billy.
Okay, I do remember him talking about that.
Didn't you get that name too?
Yes, Billy. Twice.
I did not get that name. So for your ghost thing, I think that was awesome. I think that's you're on the right path. That to me, that's the type of stuff you need for me to be a believer. That type of clear evidence, not just a mumble word that maybe said this, maybe didn't say this. I think that's the type of stuff you need more of for me to be a believer. I think that's great evidence, like he said. That's everybody tries to get that stuff. I do think it's interesting. Obviously, in the moment, like I didn't hear, like we said, I never heard the God during the time. And then when I got up to go to the cave, when we were watching the edit, like obviously I didn't hear it, but when we watched the edit, when I was editing with Nick, I was like, "What did you hear? You see where I'm walking?" And the first time I heard "wait" because I said I'm going to leave and go to the cave. So the first time I heard it, I heard "wait," like it didn't want me to leave. And then once we watched it back again, I heard "light" because I just said I'm going to turn my light on. So it happened right there. So I think that's very interesting, and I don't know how to explain that away, but but I did hear two different words at two different times. So like the first time was "wait," but the same exact word was "light" the next time. So it could be just playing tricks. Now, how I would explain your light thing away, those headlights, all you have to do is put your hand in front, and it goes off. It's supposed to turn on and off. That's how they're turned. Both times they turned on, you were turning to look at the polter pod, and the camera's right here. So literally the camera could have passed in front of it. I'm not saying that's what it was, but I'm saying that it could do that because all it takes is something in front of it for it to go off.
It's plausible.
It's plausible because that's how those lights are made. I'm not saying that's what it was, but I'm giving you a reason for why.
It's plausible.
So I see what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
I'm hearing you.
And I have one more thing, and that's it.
I was watching everyone's stuff, right? And everyone had the same headlamp on. And people were doing the exact same motions, if not more likely for it to turn on, and nothing was happening. Because I'm the behind the scenes, I'm watching all this footage with everyone. I can see these little things and really dissect it because I look at all the footage, and if I'm like, okay, if that turned on from that, then let me look at this camera. So I was looking through everyone's solo investigations, and nobody's was doing it like that. So that's my defense of it, because I still don't know why that happened.
So
boom.
So my response, or my rebuttal would be, you say that, but nowhere in my film did I have the camera near my head. I always had the camera in front of me. It was never by my head when I turned down like this. You did.
If your theory was true, every time we passed one of those skulls or skeletons or gargoyles,
You'd be close.
my lord, the hallway was this thin. It would have cut the damn light on and off.
He was right next to his camera. We'll watch the footage again. All right, so I had one thing that I had a question for Tate, and then I had one thing. What did you hear when y'all were in the scrying room? Did y'all hear something? Because when we played it back, I thought I heard like a sentence, but again, it's so quick, it's so hard to make it. I want to know if y'all actually heard what y'all thought y'all heard.
Well, I couldn't make out what the words were in the scrying room. So
I'm trying to think back to the scrying room because that was such a thing. Yeah. So as soon as we walked in, that's the main memory I have from it is it asked us to sit down, and then really I'm kind of wanting to need more detail from this. I'm
preface. If you don't want to hear, I'm gonna tell you what I thought I heard. Go back and watch. I hope I don't influence you. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But what I wrote when during that time, I wrote down when Nick sat down, he said a question.
Do you want us to leave the cave?
And I don't remember the exact question. I heard get the F out.
Okay, I heard get up.
I heard get the F out. But he didn't say F. I'm just not going to say that word.
So the thing is I remember I don't know if it was near the beginning or the end, but Tate, like when we were hearing stuff, we heard it say get out at some point. Like there was a reason why we just left because we heard something of that realm. I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Mine was right when you sat down. As soon as you sat in the chair is when I heard it say, because the first question you asked when you sat down, I heard get the F out. Now, again, I don't know for sure, but that's what I felt like I heard watching back when we reviewed it.
To me, in the moment, it was almost inaudible, but I think you're on the right track. One thing for myself, I got to write more in my journal because this is where the journal comes in handy. Mm-hmm. But I want to share kind of a sequence right here about what I was talking about earlier. So when Gary walks in the cave, I heard a male voice say, "Stop her." And then when you ask, "Are you male or female?" it just says in a female voice, "Yes." And so going down to when we go back to the seance room, I think it was me and you, Nick. There was a male voice that said, "Sensei." I heard that. And that was just on the footage we just watched. I didn't hear it in real time. I heard after the fact. And then when we walked in the closet, the scrying room, I heard "stay." I did hear "stay." Then it says "get out," so I don't think it can make up its mind or it's two entities talking to us. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was when Nick and I walked the table. It said "Sensei."
So did it say get out? Did it say get out? Are you saying after it said stay? So did it say stay and then get out? Oh, you didn't. So that's where you heard it.
First thing I heard. So the first thing I heard was when you sat down and you asked your first question. I thought I heard "get the F out." Okay. That's what I thought I heard.
If you heard "get the F out," right?
Am I leaving? No.
No. But if you heard "get the F out," does that not mean that had to be a spirit coming through that box? Because on FM, AM radio, there's no cussing. They blur it. Yeah, they bleep it, but you heard the F word.
You never know.
Yeah, so
they could have let it slip.
Yeah, there's no cussing. Like we've got some stuff in the past where it says the B word and all this, but you're like, wait, there's no cussing on the radio
station.
station.
Freak out.
Oh,
like again, it's bubble.
I get what you're saying.
I don't know.
This is not in the primary film, the documentary film that we have, but I'm sure it'll make deleted scenes, behind the scenes, rough cut. It'll make something. You're talking about cussing on live FM or AM radio, how it's prohibited. Where and why was somebody talking about red envelopes and donating during a radio broadcast through the spirit box? Why would someone be talking about that?
So that's just some stuff there. Like we were talking off scene a while ago. Like there was so much stuff that happened this night. You can't squeeze it all in. But Like, I don't know if D remembers that, like that red envelope whenever you was like, why do you give an offering?
It was a story from Ray.
Oh,
why do you give an
okay,
offering?
okay,
And then the Polter Pod hung up. The Polter Pod hung up. You can look at it on the released one of our solos. The Polter Pod hung up on that like Chinese station. It was like, red envelope.
Yes.
Giving red envelopes is always great to give donations. And then I talked to Rick off camera. Well, I don't know if it was film, but it was off camera. Rick was like, dude, red envelopes is you put hell money in it, you burn it, and it sends it to hell. Like, I've never had the Polter Pod, besides Tate one time, the check yes or no stuff at the past one, but just hang up on a station that was talking about Japanese, like, red envelope. I don't know.
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. I have to see that to understand it. I would say it could have been something church related, donating money. They donate a lot of money to churches. Not donating money, isn't it?
So this is what I'm gonna do.
Last question. Last question. You got it.
Okay.
This is
trying
just
to take your job.
no.
again.
Last literally last question. It had to be
Right.
had. I'm upset with Tate still on this situation right here. How did you go in with Nick? And you're like, oh yeah, I'll go in the scrying room, change your whole attitude, and do something you did not want to do, but you chose to do it. I was so mad when I saw you did that, and I'm like, he couldn't even go in the house, but he went in the scrying room, and it was his idea. I need to know.
All right. So here's the thing, right? Me and Tate went in there.
It was actually peaceful, too.
Me and Tate, when we went in there, it was way different than what we thought, like, before. Like, when we got in there, we got real comfortable. We got real destructive with the structure of things. We didn't let D'Angelo control us. We went in there, and we thought the best way to get comfortable is to just forget all the rules. And we didn't know we were going to go in there. But after we kind of decided it,
Yeah, I know, but
You know what? Give me this damn mic. First of all,
I need an explanation.
we've investigated it, we've lived it, have an opportunity now to sit on it for a couple months and look at it again. What's your rating, Taylor, Gary, Tate, then Nick, and then I'll give you my rating and we'll close it out.
Mine has went up to, especially after seeing the stuff with you and then the God stuff with him. Mine has went up. I'm not ever going to give anything a 10 until I see something and witness it myself. I'd say 8.5 now.
Okay.
I gave it a 6.5 when we were there. Even though I had my own experiences as far as drains and stuff, I felt like it was a 6.5 with the evidence we gathered. But after looking back over and reviewing all the evidence and footage together, I'm going to bump it up to an 8. Because I feel like there was a lot more there than meets the eye, and it's one of them places where you have to dig deep and look beyond what you're looking at and think outside the box to get perspective on what is actually there.
All right. And I know everybody's waiting for this one. I give the location a 10. I think the location's amazing. I would love to go back and investigate it again. I would say the investigation is a 6. I think we had two aspects of something that's tough to explain, maybe 3 if you don't count the camera glitch that could be possibly. I did go up from a 5 to a 6 after reviewing the footage, but it still hasn't made me a believer yet because, again, I need something that like he said, I need to experience it. I need to know, like, in the moment, I need something to happen that is going to see it versus everybody else that happened to them. Because, again, I don't have the fear going in. So if it happens to me, then I know it's not fear playing a trick, especially like movements or sounds and stuff like that. And that's how I explain a lot of what people see at the corner of their eyes and sounds is fear-based.
Okay. And Nick?
so I've been on every investigation we've ever done. I've gotten to relive it a million times. After finally finishing this one and even being a part of this one, I give this one an 8. And an 8, I want that to feel high. You know, my ranking system is pretty tough, but with actually getting to experience stuff myself and really being affected by the location, this place made me become more of a believer, for sure. Like, it was a great location. I see why you give it a 10, because, I mean, the places we haven't even got to show you guys we've been to yet, it's just, this one is still up there, you know? And we're going to the most haunted places in the world.
So this one was my favorite place, and it was my favorite place because of the things that surrounded it. Not necessarily the place, but the things that we were allowed you guys to see from us shooting this documentary Skeptic show is that, you know, everything is real. The emotions are real. Everything that we put out there is real and what we feel at that time. And because of that, I'm putting this one up there with the best of them because this episode, this movie, this show is gonna help somebody, and it's gonna help them tremendously. Maybe not from a paranormal perspective. If it's from a paranormal perspective, then we are winning and we no longer have a skeptic on the show. But in the event that on our way there, on this journey of proving that the unknown exists, we hope that we bring a lot of people with us that learn some things about family and putting things first in your life that don't necessarily mean it's you. I rank this one 9.5.
And like, I like how you were explaining all that because like, I want everyone to know too, like, this is a family. Like all of us that's participating in this, it's not just like, no one's just here because they're getting paid or what. Like it's literally, we're here because we're family and we appreciate the attempt to prove Gary wrong. You know, like all of us fully believe.
No, we're going to prove Gary.
We have to.
I think we could.
He guaranteed it.
He guaranteed it.
We should have honestly made him a believer. We should already.
Yeah.
We should already be canceled.
No, I'm telling you right now, like at one of these locations, we're gonna get a ghost to like either nut shot him or like poke him on his back or do something.
I will say we've had multiple investigations. We've had one run out, we've had another run out, and we've had another run out. We've had 3 people run out of locations. This guy has not ran out once. Just saying.
We've had some unbelievable stuff though that you should have ran out.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful that we were able to come to the Skeptic Corner and talk about all the things that, you know, maybe somebody will be skeptical about or somebody that believes, like myself, Nick, Tate, Taylor, those skeptics that are out there that are very similar to Gary. We're on a journey, we're on a mission to prove you skeptics, that let you know that the unknown does exist, and not only does it exist, but it thrives in our universe, and we're gonna prove it. And once we prove it, me, Nick, Taylor, and Tate, and a little bit of Evan, we're gonna sit back and we're gonna be like, ha! We told you so. Thank you for joining us at Skeptic Corner. I don't know how that sign off was, but I'm trying.